Hi, in this episode, I would like to walk you through the basic interface of Cityscape Pro. Okay, so let's go to the Create panel. Let's go to Helpers. Since it's a helper object, we go to Sympolium, it's at the bottom usually, and we go to Cityscape Pro. We drag and release, and we have our Cityscape Pro Helper. What's interesting about it is that you can rename the object. And once you deselect, the name that we wrote will be reflected in the viewport as well. That can be very useful when you have multiple Cityscape helpers in a scene. So let's select the Cityscape helper, let's go to the Modify menu, and we have the main toolbar. The main toolbar has a material library. Material library is a collection of complex materials which have three options. They come in dry, wet and winter. We'll go through the details later. Okay, we have a surface. A surface is a main object in the Cityscape. The surface object is used as a base for all calculations in Cityscape. It has to be a single-sided geometry. It can have terrain information, or it can be just a simple plane. Generic result button is a button that generates the actual geometry and everything else. Cityscape is not a real-time plugin. You need to use the Generate button in order to update changes. Once the changes are detected in the scene, the Generate Result button will start blinking, which means that it's time to generate. We'll go through those details later. We have curved areas next. Curved areas is an area that is surrounded by curbs, which is elevated from the road surface by a certain height. I think the best way to describe that would be to look at the actual photo. So this is a photo of the intersection. I think it's somewhere in Russia. In the blue highlighted areas, you can see that these areas have curbs, and it's elevated from the road surface by a certain height. So they can be considered as a curved area in the Cityscape Pro, and the rest is just a road surface. This road material can be created in Cityscape Pro. You can use crosswalks, you can create dashed lines, arrows, and lots of features. The possibilities are pretty much unlimited. Okay, so let's go back to the interface. We have our curved areas here. You can have multiple curved areas with different curb types, different heights. You can have curb cuts areas. You can have no curved areas, hardscape areas. But we'll go through those details a bit later. So then have the Modify Surface toolbar, Modify Surface Controls. The main surface object. You can add lots of elements like water areas. You can add lakes, ponds, reservoirs, you can add terrain features like hills or holes in the surface. You can add berms. We have the Supergrass. Supergrass is a procedural press object. You can create it very easily with just a few clicks, and it gives you a very realistic grass geometry. We have a snow geometry for creating winter scenes. You can create snow piles and compacted snow areas. And then we have the road texture. Road texture is a map that allows you to create a very complex road with pavement markings, dust layer, and with lots of other features.